The story opens inside a bustling mine, where workers are hard at their tasks. Suddenly, one of them suffers a deep injury to his leg, and the others rush to help him. Amid the commotion, two other workers seize their chance to head deeper inside. They break through the rock and pull out a small fragment containing rare and dazzling opals. Instead of handing it over, they quietly hide the piece for themselves. Meanwhile, in New York City, we meet a man named Howard. He owns a jeweler's store in the city, but every bit of profit he makes ends up in high-stakes basketball bets. Howard is addicted to gambling, and he's confident, too confident, in his choices. He always bets on the same team and players he believes will perform well. But right now, he's buried under a massive debt he owes to his brother-in-law, a ruthless loan shark who lends money at extremely high interest rates. Howard borrowed that money to acquire the very same opals found by the miners. He's having them smuggled from Ethiopia to New York, and he's been impatiently waiting for their arrival. Things get tense when his brother-in-law hires two men to collect the overdue interest Howard hasn't paid for a long time. They show up at his shop, but Howard cleverly slips away before they can corner him. He heads straight to his girlfriend's apartment, a place he's rented just for her. Even though Howard is married with two children, his relationship with his wife is falling apart. She despises his gambling habit, and their divorce is already on the horizon. That's why Howard spends as much time as he can with his girlfriend, trying to escape the chaos of his other life. Howard learns that another major basketball game is coming up. Hoping to score big, he sells a large portion of his jewelry and manages to gather a good amount of cash. But this time, luck turns against him. He loses it all. Now desperate and under intense pressure to repay his brother-in-law, he knows he needs money fast. Just then, his friend Damani calls with exciting news. Kevin, a superstar basketball player, wants to visit Howard's shop. Howard is thrilled and rushes over. Kevin has already arrived with his entourage, but none of the jewelry Howard shows him seems to catch his interest. That's when a delivery arrives for Howard. Inside the package are several fish. Howard cuts one open and pulls out exactly what he's been waiting for: the stone filled with rare opals for which he borrowed all that money. When he shows them to Kevin, the player's face lights up. Kevin says he wants to buy them, but Howard refuses, explaining that he plans to auction the opals for a much higher price. That night, Kevin has a big game and believes the opals will bring him luck. He asks Howard to lend them to him for one night. These stones are priceless, not only for their beauty, but because they're an extraordinary 600-carat find. Howard agrees on one condition. Kevin must give him his 2008 NBA championship ring as collateral. Kevin agrees, hands over the ring, and leaves with the opals. Howard then pawns the ring and walks away with a solid amount of cash. He quickly places multiple bets on tonight's NBA game, believing his strategy could win him $600,000. As the game unfolds, everything goes exactly as he predicted, and he wins. But before he can collect his money, he attends his daughter's school play and spots the two men his brother-in-law sent to collect the debt. Outside, Howard tells them he doesn't have the money yet and promises to pay soon. They accuse him of lying, pointing out that he always has money to gamble, but never to repay them. They reveal that the person who handled Howard's bet is actually connected to them, and they've already collected the winnings, meaning Howard gets nothing. Furious, he calls Damani and demands his opals back. Damani tells him to meet at the club tonight, where he'll hand them over. Late at night, Howard arrives at the club, expecting to meet Damani and collect his opals. But he soon realizes Damani has been lying. There are no opals here. To make matters worse, he learns that his girlfriend is also at the club. When he asks Damani about her, he's told she's in the restroom with another man, the same man hosting tonight's party. Furious, Howard bangs on the door until they come out. It's clear the two have been seeing each other. Howard confronts her, creating a scene, and gets thrown out of the party. Still angry, he tells her to move out of the apartment he bought for her. The next day, Damani brings Kevin to Howard's shop. Kevin offers $175,000 for the opals, but Howard refuses. He insists Kevin must attend the upcoming auction and bid there. Kevin returns the opals and asks for his championship ring back, but Howard lies, saying it's at home and he'll return it soon, when in truth, he has already sold it. The following day, Howard takes the opals to the auction house and hands them over to be listed for bidding the next day. That night, during a family dinner, Howard tells his relatives about the auction and invites them to attend. One wealthy relative is present, whose son is a huge Kevin fan, and Kevin will be at the auction as well. After dinner, Howard speaks to his wife, claiming he wants to be with her and that he no longer has a girlfriend. She's pleased to hear this. He even takes her to the apartment where his girlfriend used to live, now empty, which makes her even happier. Howard feels like things might finally be turning around. If the opals sell, he expects to earn at least $1 million. The next morning, Howard arrives at the auction house only to be shocked. The opals are valued between just $155,000 and $225,000, with a maximum expected price of $225,000. Disappointed and still in urgent need of cash, he agrees to move forward. He spots his wealthy relative and shares a plan. When Kevin bids on the opals, his relative should also bid, forcing Kevin to raise his offer. Convinced Kevin believes the stones bring him luck, Howard hopes he'll pay any price to get them. The auction begins, and at first, many people bid. But as the price climbs, only Kevin and Howard's relative remain. Eventually, the bidding stalls at $180,000, offered by Howard's relative. Kevin refuses to go higher. Howard is crushed. Outside, the men he owes $100,000 to are waiting. They lend him money to buy these very opals, and now they beat him badly before leaving. Broken and defeated, Howard returns to his shop in tears. Soon after, his girlfriend arrives, apologizing for her actions. Howard forgives her. Kevin then shows up to retrieve his championship ring. Once again, Howard makes an excuse, but Kevin has already learned about Howard's failed auction scheme with his relative. Still, Kevin offers to buy the opals for $165,000. Desperate for money, Howard accepts and tells Kevin he's going to bet all of it on the next big game. He urges Kevin to dominate on the court and perform his best, saying he already has a detailed plan for which plays and players to bet on. Kevin's associates hand over the money, take the opals, and leave. Howard decides to put all of his money on tonight's big basketball game. But before he can act, the men he owes arrive outside, now demanding not just the original loan, but the heavy interest that has piled up. Before they can reach him, Howard calls his girlfriend over to the window of another room. He quickly explains exactly how to place the bets, on which plays and which players, and hands her all the cash before sending her away. Soon after, Howard's wealthy relative and the two debt collectors he hired to chase Howard down arrive at Howard's office, demanding payment. Howard insists he has no money, but they already know about his deal with Kevin and the $165,000 he received. Howard then traps all three inside a security room and admits the truth. He's already bet the entire amount on tonight's game, most of it on Kevin's performance. The game begins, and we see Howard's girlfriend carrying out the bets exactly as planned. Everything unfolds just as Howard predicted. His winnings start to multiply rapidly. Soon, he's up by hundreds of thousands of dollars, enough to pay off all his debts and still have a fortune left over. Overjoyed, Howard releases his relative and the two men from the locked room. But the moment they step out, one of the hired enforcers, furious and impatient, shoots Howard point blank. The relative is shocked and enraged, but the gunman, being a hardened criminal, doesn't hesitate to kill him as well. Together, the killers loot Howard's entire jeweler's store and disappear into the night. Meanwhile, Howard's girlfriend receives the massive winnings from the bets, unaware that Howard is gone forever. The man who fought so hard, risked everything, and finally won, is no longer alive to enjoy a single dollar. The truth is, Howard's nature meant he was never satisfied. Even if he had lived, he would have kept gambling until every penny was gone. Howard's story is a reflection of countless people in the real world. Those who are never content, always chasing more, and in the process, destroying themselves or everything they have. That's why in life, we must be practical, honest, and work hard on the right path. Only then can we truly find satisfaction. So, This was the complete story of Uncut Gems. What's your opinion about people like Howard? Share your thoughts in the comments. We hope you enjoyed this story.